We need to each create a manually created directory to find teacher websites and staff information more easily. An example of what we all need to do, Eileen has already created over at Irving. So if you want to take a look at Irving's site, you'll see here at Irving under directory, she's created a page called Teacher Websites Directory. In here, she just created an information page and linked the name of the teacher to the teacher's website. So if I were to click on this class, it would take me right to the teacher's website. Or if I click on another site, it'll take you right to that website where it shows you homework and anything they have going on in class. This is much easier for parents to find than going through the class pages area, because this is complicated, as well as the faculty and staff listing, because they have to click on teachers, and then after that they have to find their teacher listed in this crazy alphabetical mess. So in order to create this directory, like Eileen has created it, I'm going to show you a few steps. Now, this is not something that will update itself, so if a teacher changes, say next year you get a different teacher in 4th grade, you're going to have to change that yourself, but that's only one minor change from year to year, and I think it's going to benefit our parents and families and students much more than it's really going to take us work. So the first thing you need to do is you need to create a resource in the Manage Site area. So in your school, go to Resources, Manage Site Resources, and then I'd like you to create it in a directory. And I'd like you to name it Teacher Staff Websites. So you're actually just going to add a resource, not a folder, because you're just going to add one-page resource, which is less clicking. So when you add the resource, create an information page, which just allows you to make this nice list. Say Next, and then you're going to call it Teacher Websites Directory. I've already created one at each school for you, so that you can add to it. So it's already been created. I just want to show you how I did that. So I'm just going to say cancel. And this is the one at Freedom that I've already begun. And Brian's lucky because I did some of the work for him. So at Freedom, I created this one called Teacher Staff Websites. And in here, you'll notice that it's just text in one box. So when you go to update it, you're only going to one place. There's not many pages. Now, middle schools are organized by team. So in middle schools, there's Team 6A, and there's a teacher for that, for the different subjects, Team 6B, 7A, 7B, and 8A. Here's the one that I've already added the teacher. So if I was a parent and I knew my kid was on Team 8A, but I wasn't sure who the teachers were, I would know that the language arts teacher is Miss Dennis, the math teacher is Mrs. Babolka. If I click on this link as a parent, this is the same link here that's going to take me to that teacher's website. So in order to create those links, I have Miss Ryan right here, and I need to link these words to her page. The easiest way to do this without getting signed in and out of eChalk over and over again is to have eChalk signed in to Manage Site on one browser, so this is Chrome, and then to have the website for your school, the public side, open in another browser, which I have as Safari. So just use 2 different browsers, or you can just have 2 different windows. It won't work with tabs. It'll keep signing you in and out and make you crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Freedom's homepage, and I'm going to find in the directory, you'll have to use this, so don't delete it yet. I'm going to find Miss Ryan in the faculty staff directory. So I'm going to have one page here with the teachers and one page here to put them in like this. The first thing, where did I have Miss Ryan? So I need to go find Allison Ryan, and I click on here. And now you'll see Allison teaches a lot of classes because she's our ESL teacher, so she's in many classes, so she has access to many classes. So it would be silly to link Team 8A to a specific class because she's in Math 8A, Social Studies 8A, and then Team 8A, the main site. So for her, the link is not going to be to the individual class page, but it's actually going to be to her profile page. So I'm going to copy the entire web address, which is a public web address. Then I'm going to go here, highlight her name, and then click the little web link button. And if you notice this here, there's a hyperlink that's unbroken and a hyperlink that's together. Make sure you click on this one. Then I'm going to delete the HTTP and paste, so Command V, paste in there and say OK. I don't need to change anything else. So now Miss Ryan has linked words. And if I was a parent and I was like, oh, my teacher or my student has Miss Ryan, I could click on there and I could find out anything about Miss Ryan that I needed to. For 8B, I would do the same thing, but fill in these teachers' names. So this is Mrs. Johnson, or sorry, Mrs. Jura. And then I would go back to the directory on my other browser so I don't get kicked out and find Miss Jura alphabetically here and get the link to her page. Just like that, she teaches many classes as well because there's many periods. Copy that text, highlight her name, hyperlink to her page. And then just because, to make sure you don't lose all your work, I would save this often. So say save. And then I can easily go back here and take a look at what it looks like. So now I can see that I have all these words linked. Now feel free to use colors or to use images to help parents distinguish things, but make sure that you put in all of your support staff. You'll notice that some social workers are only listed at the elementary school they're at, but they're at 2 schools. So you may need to go to another school's page to find their profile area to get that information. And then whatever is pertinent to your school to include at the bottom here, make sure that you include. So if it makes sense to include the band teacher, make sure to include the band teacher. When you're finished with this, it'll be posted on your homepage, teacher staff websites, which is much easier for parents to navigate. You'll see here, I can easily go to Mrs. Babolka's page with just a couple clicks and find out about her class. And then also, the great thing about this too is I can find if I need to email her, if teachers have put phone numbers in for classrooms or other information, that's all there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to delete this class pages directory and this faculty and staff directory. So actually, before you do that, you want to create a directory for administration. So right now we have faculty and staff, and there is an administration area here, but there's not a whole lot of information, and you have to keep clicking to find out anything else. So what the best thing would be to do is to create another resource. So if I went back to resources, directory, I can add another resource and I can call this another information page, and then administration. And then this is where I could put a nice little thing that said Principal Jim Calabrese. And if I wanted, I could even put more information here or a picture of him and make this just a little more personable rather than having to click over and over to get somewhere. Or this could just be a link to his, I click here, to his page about himself, which he needs to fill out. So just a little more information. That way it's easier for families to find information about their schools.